NRL vid 090 back in another video today. This is my season reviews for 2020 for each NRL club 1 to 16. So I'll be going alphabetical order, obviously. So the Brisbane Broncos come first, then tomorrow will be the Canberra Raiders, and on Thursday the day after the Raiders will be the Bulldogs. So I'll be going to alphabetical order with my season reviews for 2020. So yeah, and it all starts today with the Brisbane Broncos, and they've had a very rough year. The Broncos, they've really struggled, and I'll be going through about their season and my thoughts about them this year in 2020, and going through their star player of the year, their worst player, and the surprise packet player. So, so the Brisbane Broncos 2020 goes like this. So, obviously before COVID, the Broncos had 2 wins in a row. They had having a really positive start to the season. They beat the Cowboys 28 points to 21 in Townsville, a new stadium. And then round 2, they go back to Brisbane, and they play the Rabbitohs, and they beat Rabbitohs actually, 24 points to 18. And things are looking very good for Broncos in 2020 until the lockdown for COVID hits, and this is where everything changed for the Broncos this year in 2020. We had players like Tony Staggs, obviously involved with a bit of drama and controversy. We had, pretty much Broncos players' attitude being shot for some reason. Like maybe it was because that, they were playing, apparently they were playing Xbox, PlayStations, and all that, and they were, not really. They were still in COVID, I think, lockdown and all that. Because when they came back, into the revamped competition, they just did not look interested at all. The Broncos, when playing, they just looked like they were still focused on like the gaming and with the PS4s and all that, and they just did not look interested one bit, in playing in NRL rugby league. It just looked like they wanted to like game and play on the Xbox and PlayStation. And like anything else, they just have an attitude problem. The young Broncos, and look, they're only young. I know that, but the thing is, they have to be better than that. Like, because you can't just have a season. You can't have a season like that, especially the Broncos. Because for me, the Broncos are known for a club that's always had a very proud history and are a proud club. It's a very successful club as well, the Broncos, and for them to get their first wooden spoon ever is really it's a real disappointment for them as a club. They get their first ever wooden spoon. They're a really successful club, and this year's been one that is the worst year yet. Obviously, they had about how many losses in a row? They had about like 12 or more losses in a row at the start of the year for this year. I really apologise. I apologise. I don't really remember how much games lost, but it was quite a bit. But yeah, it's been a really sad year for the Broncos, and this is a year that any Brisbane Broncos fan would like to forget. And there's positives in 2021 for the Broncos. I think they will improve next year because they've got Kevin Walters. I think Kevin Walters will at least bring a bit of culture back to the Broncos, and will be good for some of the young players there, and experienced players there. He'll be good for the whole team, I reckon. Kevin Walters should go well. I don't expect him to be a saviour of the club or anything, but I think that he will do a good enough job to hopefully improve the Broncos in 2021 and that. So, and I think they're about to make some new signings as well, apparently, and clean out their roster, because apparently Off Hangawi might be leaving the Broncos, and Matt Lodge is rumoured to go to the Warriors. So there's a bit of player movement there for the Broncos, and even Jack Bird was linked to go to the Dragons, but I think the Broncos now declined that because they want to keep him. And I think Kevin Walters is keen to keep Jack Bird at the Broncos. So there's obviously going to be a bit of change next year for the Broncos, but I think it's definitely needed after the year they've had. Worst year yet, and they definitely need some changes. So it's definitely need that change right there for their roster and their playing squad. But like, I'll go for my star player. So my star player means that like, who I personally thought was the best player for the Broncos this year, who really stood out for mine. And you know what? It's kind of a no-brainer, to be honest. I know there was guys like Payne Haas and all that, but this guy in 2020 was for the Broncos was just a no-brainer for mine. And My star player of the year goes to Tony Staggs, and also got one Centre of the Year for 2020. Got the Centre of the Year in the NRL Daily M Awards. So, and the thing is, he would have been picked for the Blues apparently, but because of his ACL injury, he been unfortunately ruled out, and that really does suck for Tony Staggs. Because if I was him having an ACL injury and missing out on my spot on making the Blues team, I would be really upset. So. But look, Tony Staggs had a fantastic overall. You know, he's like, you know, I'll put it this way: he's been that ray of sunshine in the dark for the Broncos, because the Broncos have been all like grey, sad, darkness, and then you have Tony Staggs is just that ray of sunshine basically. That's really in that team. So yeah, Tony Staggs is a star player for mine. It's a no-brainer. He's been excellent all year for them. He's been consistent. He's been scoring tries. His goal kicking isn't too bad as well. And he played for the Indigenous squad back in February this year. He's just been so good with the Broncos, Tony Staggs, and this man's a big future. He'll be one of the best centers in the game. And he already is. Tony Staggs is already one of the best centers in the game. But what I'm saying is, I think that maybe in the next couple of years he will be one of the most premier centers in the comp, and maybe one of the best players. We're probably saying. I think, you know, it's a big call this, but I think Tony Staggs is potentially, well, when the years go by, Tony Staggs could be potentially one of the best Broncos players we've seen at the club come through. So it's a big call, but I definitely see the potential of Staggs being one of being one of the best players we've seen come for the Brisbane Broncos. And the Broncos need to keep him. The Broncos have to keep Tony Staggs, because it's rumoured that Staggs could leave the Broncos, but I don't think it's true exactly. But I think he will remain at Broncos, but you never know, because rumours are around these days, and some of them are true, some of them are not. But yeah, I think Staggs will stay at the Broncos. I think he knows that there's hope something good building there for the future, and I think he wants to be part of it. So I think, yeah, Broncos have to hang on to Tony Staggs, or else I think that they will definitely be around the bottom for the next couple of years, because losing someone like that is really a big loss for your club at any stage, you know. So yeah, Tony Staggs is my star player of the year for 2020 for the Brisbane Broncos. My worst player goes to Brody Croft, and a lot of expectation was put on the Brody Croft, you know. Obviously, he was the halfback partner for Anthony Milford. Him and Milford were supposed to be the halves combination heading to 2020, and like I said before COVID lockdown hit, and before that they were gelling greatly. I thought Milford and Croft looked like they understood each other's game and all that, and they combined pretty well. But for some reason, there's just been a lack of attitude that's in that you know, amongst the team, like I said, and now the Croft and Milford halves pairing has just really gone to pear shape. It just has not gone good at all. It's gone really rotten. I mean, look, I'm not really saying Brody Croft was terrible or anything, but he did have a pretty disappointing year in my opinion. And look, I'm not gonna lie, there was plenty of other players that could have got this got the worst player award for the Broncos, like maybe Anthony Milford, Darius Boyd. There was many players. Look, there was many players for the Broncos. I thought maybe Richie Kenner. But look, there was plenty of Broncos players that were in contention to get this worst player of the year award. And look, Brody Croft stood out for mine. But like, I'm not gonna rubbish Brody Croft and put all shit on him. I think there was other players as well that really had a terrible year. But I mean, look, I think I personally expect the Brody Croft to do better at the Broncos. Honestly, he just didn't live up to expectations, and I mean, whether Kevin Walters will improve his game when he arrives at Broncos, who knows? But at this stage, I don't think Brody Croft should be in their halves. I think Tom Dearden is definitely the future for Broncos, unlike Croft is for them, and I think Tom Dearden is a no-brainer to get the Broncos first grade halfback spot. You know, I think Tom Dean's a great young player with plenty of potential. And for a small guy, he's not an awful defender. He actually does pretty well. He's a tough player as well. So he may miss a few tackles, Tom Dean, but he's always in there. He works hard from what it looks like. And yeah, I think someone like him should definitely be in the Broncos full-time team, you know. And my surprise packet of the year, like my surprise packet player, like this award's about like someone I didn't expect to do much in 2020, but and it surprised me as a fan. And yeah, this is a surprise player that no one expected to do much in 2020. Maybe some of you guys did, I don't know. But this is my surprise packet player of the year award, who I thought really stood out and really shocked me. And that was Patrick Harrigan. I didn't expect him to do much in 2020, young Patrick Harrigan. But look, honestly, in a tough year for the Broncos, a really, really tough year for the Broncos, he has also been the positives out of it. Patrick Harrigan, you know, he's been plays like a leader, works hard. He's also got a Queensland Maroons spot in the squad, and well deserved. He deserves a spot in the Queensland Maroons squad. So well done to Patrick Harrigan right there. But yeah, well deserved. I think he's a hard worker. He's a good defender as well. He's a consistent young player who always turns up every week and doesn't let their teammates down, I think. And he's definitely the future for Broncos, I think. And, you know, right now, if I was to pick who gets a lock spot between Tavita Pangai Jr. and Patrick Carrigan, I'll actually go with Carrigan, because he's obviously he's a bit more mature than Pangai Jr. And I think Pangai Jr. kind of suits the back row position a bit better than a bit better, because obviously David Fafita going. Pangai Jr. will do pretty well in the back row spot. I think he's done well there before, and I think Carrigan should remain at lock because that's his best position, but he can also play prop. But Patrick Carrigan's, he's just a great young player, and I think he has a big future in front of him at the Broncos, and I think he's a future leader at the Broncos, believe it or not. I think he's a future leader there, so it's something that the Broncos have to also try and hang on for the future as well. So Kevy has to really look out for Patrick Carrigan in the future, I reckon. He's a special player, Patrick Carrigan, in my opinion. And now, this is my crystal ball for the Brisbane Broncos in 2021. So I feel like that the Broncos in 2021 will definitely improve. I think that they will definitely not get the wooden spoon again. They won't go back-to-back wooden spoons. I think Kevin Walters will definitely make this Brisbane Broncos squad a lot better than they were this year. I think he'll bring confidence out of them. Some of the younger players will start believing in themselves that they can do it. Because I think you know what, someone like Kevin Walters can really influence somebody. I think that the younger players have something fun to play for, and that's for Kevin Walters. Kevin Walters is a great leader, and I think all younger players would want to play under the legend himself, Kevin Walters. And I think that they are looking better next year. I think that the only things that have to really fix is who their other centre is, because there's obviously Tony Staggs, but who's the other centre? Is it Herbie Farnworth? Is it Jack Bird possibly? Is it someone else? And maybe just sort out the halves. I think Tom Dean's definitely a lock for mine, the halves of Brisbane Broncos next year, but I think that the 5'8" role needs to be sorted out, because I don't know if Anthony Milford's the right man for the job for 5'8". I think Anthony Milford's a great player on his day. He's a real great, talented player, but he's just so inconsistent, that bloke, and I think that he doesn't deserve a first grade spot at the moment, Anthony Milford. I think he's lost it for mine, but time will tell if he does bounce back in 2021. And maybe the Broncos just need another hooker. I know Jake Turpin's a solid young player, but maybe I think they're getting Andrew McCulloch back as well, I think, because he was on a loan deal, and Andrew McCulloch, so he's coming back to the Broncos, I think. So that would be very good, a bit of experience and leadership right there. That's what Broncos need. Yeah, but look, for me in 2021 for the Brisbane Broncos, they will improve, but they'll still miss the 8, I think, but there'll be a lot of improvement. I think a lot of their players will definitely stand up and be a lot more better in their performances and all that, and preparation. So there's some good signs for Brisbane Broncos in 2021 and in the future, but it's still going to be a little bit of building year next year for the Broncos, I believe. But guys, that brings a wrap to my 2020 season review for the Brisbane Broncos. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow night for my Canberra Raiders season review for 2020. So guys, see you then.